Hello everybody and welcome back. On this video, we are going to talk about hiring cold callers. Not just any old cold callers, but getting the best cold callers for your wholesaling company. So I'm going to cover two things in this video. The first thing is going to be how to vet them. And then also the other thing is going to be where to find them. And I'm going to show you guys a job announcement that I use to not only post in Facebook groups on other freelancing websites like Upwork.com, but I also use it to vet cold callers as well. So I'm going to show you guys both of these things right now, and then we'll go over some tips on how you can choose the best cold callers for your company. So let me go ahead and open up my browser. So this job announcement is the one I use whenever I'm hiring my cold callers. Couple things to note, guys. We just don't want anybody. Remember, we have a large pool of cold callers, of virtual assistants from the Philippines to choose from. And yes, we are going to be choosing Filipino cold callers. Some of you guys may say, well, they have an accent. They don't understand investment. Guys, we have to understand that cold callers, their only job is to vet the leads that come through. This is the lowest level position in your company, essentially. You don't need an expert cold caller or somebody who could do all this stuff as far as managing leads or negotiating offers. We'll get in all that in other videos, but just know when you want to hire a cold caller, you're only looking for the lowest level individual. Why are we doing that? Because number one, it wouldn't make sense to pay a cold caller like $20 an hour. I talked to a company that had American cold callers and they were paying them $20 an hour. Ask me how profitable they were. Not at all. They were breaking even. So what we want to do now, guys, is actually go out, hire cold callers. We should be charging or paying them anywhere from $3 to $5 an hour, depending on their experience level. Also realize with cold callers, guys, this position is one that's that doesn't require a lot of technical expertise. So when you're putting this job description out here, don't try to look for somebody who's overqualified. Really, who you want to look for is somebody who's dependable, they're communicating to you, and they're following your directions. Notice here at the bottom of my job announcement, I have some directions here, and this is purposeful. All right. So I say, hey, please send your resume to this email. Guess how many people still comment if I post this on Facebook or on Freelancer or Upwork, and who comment on the actual job announcement and they don't follow the directions here. That's a way that you can actually vet your cold caller. You want to be very careful about cold callers or virtual assistants that reply to your announcement that do not follow your directions. And I suggest you having some sort of direction inside of your job announcement. We say, hey, send it to admin@ccgarlandmarketing.com. One thing I was doing before when I first started hiring cold callers, I would tell them, hey, tell me your favorite color. Because I want to make sure they actually read the job announcement. On some of these websites, they may just be sending out their resumes en masse. And I want to know that they read my particular job announcement and they're just not replying back to, 100 different job announcements. So you want to get somebody who has attention to detail and who actually follows instructions. So it's very important you either put something like this in there or something similar to vet them, because you're going to be able to essentially eliminate a whole bunch of people by just having that one filter right there. So don't make exceptions for people if they're not following the directions, regardless of how good their resume is. Don't make exceptions, because that's only going to cause you issues when you get them on board if they don't have attention to detail. So this is a job announcement that we post, guys. We keep it very simple. We said, hey, we're hiring cold callers, direct to client. Right? So they're not working for an agency, because a lot of these cold callers and virtual assistants, they work for agencies as well. And we just want to let them know, hey, this isn't an agency type deal here. And then we put the job description here. We have very few criteria because, like I said, this job position is not a very technical one. It's something that I think I've had cold callers that were like in their teens, like teenagers, call for me before. Hey, as long as you could do the job, I don't care how old you are. So you want to be able to call a list of people potentially selling their property. Pre-qualifying questions will be asked based on the script that we provide them. And we want you to be able to forward any interested leads to the lead manager via web form. and then we provide a script. So if they respond back to this, they'll most likely understand what you're saying here. If they respond back and they're like, can you give me a little bit more detail about what a script means, or a web form, or calling people based on their property? If they're confused about that, that's probably not the right person to choose. You really want somebody who's been in the real estate industry before. There's so many cold callers out here, guys. You're bound to find a ton that have been in the real estate industry. Don't take on projects. Find somebody as close as possible to being ready for the position. Don't go out here and try to find some VA that was working in sales, not sales, but just in customer service, or working in some other industry like insurance. Find somebody who was actually working in real estate. That's another way that you can filter out people. I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of replies back. So you're going to have your choice to essentially pick who you want. So don't jump at the first person that comes through. Be very strict, right? If you get a bad vibe from somebody, don't just hire them on because they were the first person to come back to you regarding or to respond to your job announcement. I have a phrase that I use. It goes like this: hire slow, fire fast. You want to hire slow and fire fast 100% of the time. If you do that, you'll make the right hire almost every single time, right? We're asking for them to have BPO or call center experience, preferably in the real estate industry. It could be outside of that, but we want to make sure that they understand at least how to conduct a cold call. They can properly communicate with English, with the English language. I don't mind accents. Guys, don't look for the person that has a perfect accent. I've heard cold callers talk to the most country people, and I could barely listen or understand what both individuals were saying. But guess what? Those two individuals understood each other. I'm telling you, it was something miraculous when I listened to one of my cold callers calls. And I heard this really Southern individual communicate with Filipino, one of our new cold callers that had a really thick accent. Accent doesn't matter, guys. And these sellers are getting blown up so much by so many cold callers that have Filipino accents. Don't really worry about that. Their whole goal is just to qualify. That's it. As long as you can understand them and they can understand the English language, that's all you're looking for. You're not looking for, somebody, that has a master's degree and English and they're teaching English as their second language. You don't need that for this position, right? We also want to make sure they can use Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. Not really necessary, but if a lot of the cold callers I have them do reporting for me. So it's just a good little bonus, just so you can have them type up their own end of the day reports for you. And they can follow the provided schedule, which is big. Most Filipino VAs understand that they need to be working night shift on their end. Understand, if you're on East Coast time in America, there are 12 hours ahead of us. So if it's 12 p.m. in the States, it's 12 a.m. over there. So I would really try to find somebody who has worked night shift or is currently working night shift with their current position and they're looking to make a transition. That shouldn't be an issue. That sort of goes without saying, but just make sure, because shifting from day shift to night shift, that's a huge change for anybody. So I would prefer that they have worked night shift for several years, preferably since they started working for themselves. You really want to make sure that they're working night shift, because they're going to be calling within these hours, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. EST or your local time. And make sure that you guys are changing the job description as you see fit. Most of this will work for most of you all. However, if you're calling from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., make sure you change that. Just adjust it based off of your needs for your company. And of course, change this email down here so I'm not getting your resumes. But I will provide this job announcement in the description of this video. So where to post your job announcements? Okay, guys, this is the fun part, because most of you all probably have heard of at least Upwork and onlinejobs.ph. I use Freelancer as well, but really the true gem here is using Facebook groups. Now, some of these Facebook groups are only in Tagalog, which is the Filipino language. Now, I would say this is where you're going to find most of your people here. at least verified. I like using Facebook opposed to these because I can actually go through and see an individual's profile. If I see that their Facebook profile was created yesterday, it doesn't really give me that great of confidence that they're a real person, or at least they're not hiding anything. So you know, a lot of these, not a lot of them, but some VAs get bad reputations and they may, delete their account and then create another one. You just never know. So I like Facebook because you can go on their profile, you can look at their kids, you can look at their husband, wife, their family, see what they're doing, and actually see that they're a real person. I like that a lot about Facebook. Now, if you already have a VA, or you can hire one off of Fiverr to go in these Facebook groups and actually type this job description in their own language, you'll probably get way better applicants, right? It'll open up your applicant pool, for one. And two, you'll find that these individuals in these groups, they're more open to responding to that individual than maybe somebody who's speaking American. I don't know. I just found that I have a lot more success with using these Facebook groups, and I use my my project manager. She actually goes in there and posts on my behalf. And I'll show you guys what these look like as well. So here's the Upwork Freelancers Philippines group. I don't know if this is actually actually verified by Upwork, but this is definitely one. And there's 132,000 members, 132,000 people looking for work. Looking for work, guys. I'm telling you, your buyer pool would never be dried up. You have the pick of the litter here. Here's another one. All right, so this one has 95,000 members. 95,000. All right. And we have this one as well. This has 6,000 members. So as I said, this will be included in the description of the video. So you will have access to all of these Facebook groups. The only thing that you have to do is join, and then you can start posting your job announcement there. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video about how to hire your cold caller through Facebook, through Upwork, whatever platform you choose. Go out there, go hire some killer cold callers, and I hope these tips help. I will see you guys on the next video.